Previously on Evolution on the Mic.
And we are back, season 6, Faith in God. Episode 4, New Adventure, Same God. On this episode today, we're going to be discussing how to stay motivated when the future is uncertain.
How do you stay motivated to keep pushing when the future is uncertain?
For me, it's been a constant reminder of my why and understanding as well that things are going to unfold in its divine time. That's what keeps me from not falling so much into the fear and staying in the hope. Fear is real. It's just fact. But if you give it to God, if you trust in Him, if you lean in Him, if you choose to find the ways God is helping maneuver things, even with ideas, maybe somebody tells you something and you're like, I know they told me that for a reason because they sparked something inside of me that I thought was kind of fading out. That reignited something again. You think that was by coincidence that someone said something to help it reignite something that you were thinking of doing, but maybe you were going astray? No, that's God, because He wants you to stay in it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. A lot of the times we do not stick with things long enough to see the results, to see the fruits of our labor. We just start working. This is hard. This isn't working. I'ma just quit. Or I lost my motivation. Or the future is too uncertain for me. I don't want to continue. I want to go back to the easy route. I want to go back to comfort. I want to go back to what I know. And all that's going to happen is going to keep you where you've been, and you're never going to know where you could have gone. You're never going to know that.
You just dropped so much in what you just said around staying motivated when the future is uncertain. And I could relate to so much of what you were saying. Not that I'm moving to Costa Rica, but there's been several times in my life where I've had the experience of not knowing what was going to come. I mean, I went through that just, the year before when I had lost my job, and I literally was a full year and when I didn't have full-time employment. And to go from having full-time employment with benefits and then not having it is uncertain. And every day you're not knowing what this means for me financially. Am I going to be able to do this? There's things that's going to change in your life. And what I had to hold on to was all of those times when God showed up for me. And that was what allowed me to be anchored and allowed me to not allow the world around me and the uncertainty around me to get the best of me and to take and rip apart me through fear. It allowed me to lean into God more. And I love what you said about that. Like, lean into Him, trust in Him, understanding that God's timing has a purpose. God's timing has a purpose. If you don't know that yet, it's time for you to understand. God's timing has a purpose. Our expectations are what allows us to feel as though God's timing's not working in the way we want, but it's really God's timing that is so perfect, so perfect. And Ariana, you showed that, like you did. Everything that aligned for your move to Costa Rica was God's divine timing. How things happen, the people you connected with, the places you've been, it just blows my mind how all of it's so connected, but it shouldn't blow my mind because that's how God works. That's how God lets us know I'm in it. That's how God lets you know you're not alone. And He's always there, and He's always has our back as we're going through those uncertain times, as we're unsure of what's going to happen. God's not going to let you fall. He's not. And if for whatever reason you're like, I'm falling and I've never seen God show up in my life and I've always felt like I'm alone, I'd encourage you to reach out and talk to Him. Encourage you to reach out and talk to Him. Hey, God, I'm struggling right now. I'm going through some tough spots. There's things that you're asking me to do, or there's things that I feel like I need to do that I'm not comfortable doing right now because I'm just not ready for it. I need your help. I need you here with me. I need you to be that light. I need you to walk with me. God will walk with you. He will be there with you. He won't let you be alone. He's omnipresent. He can be anywhere that you are. He's there with you. And I think it's when we start to understand the fact that God is always there with us, number one. So the best way I can put this for those that like examples, think of someone in your life that absolutely makes you feel safe. No matter what you do when you're around that person, they always make you feel safe. Now, I want you to think about everywhere you go in life, that person's always with you. That's God. Everywhere you go in life, He's always with you. He's always there right by your side. Even if you have a moment where you're like, God, I don't know, he's there with you. It's like, it's okay. It's all right. You got this. Or he might say, now's not the time. Take a step back. It's that discernment. It's that listening. It's building that relationship with him. And
Yep.
I found for me, it's the expectations that tends to get the best of me when it comes to future being uncertain. It's me creating a future of what I expect things to look like, as opposed to asking God, how should things look like? What should this look like, God? Because it's when I'm trying to take control and I'm trying to create the future that I get disappointed. It's when I feel like God's not there. But God's saying that was never your vision in the first place. I don't even know why you're going over there. That was never the thing I had for you, right? And that's where going back to your why really plays out, and where going back to your why really means something. So, Ari, I couldn't agree with you more. I think going back to the why, what really allows us to connect and understand that even though this time in front of us is uncertain, I know the reason why I'm doing it, because God has showed me something, or God has imparted this in me, and He's told me this is the direction He has for me.
Yeah, no, I love what you said when you were like, to think of a friend that we feel very safe with, and that's God with us, right? He's makes us feel safe, and he is always there, right? And it just, reminded it had me thinking about when you first said it had me thinking about the people in my life that make me feel completely safe, right? For example, like my mom, right? I can feel completely safe with my mom. I can do whatever. My mom will forgive me. My mom will stand by me, no matter what. I've told my mom some crazy things, and she just says, just don't do it again. And it's like, it's forgiven. I forgive you. Just don't do it again. And it's like things that I'm like, I felt like I never want to tell nobody. My mom's like, pretty much knows everything. And I feel very safe. And it's like that feeling thinking about, okay, God, you know what I mean? Like that feeling that my mom gives me, thinking about it in the sense of that's who God is for us, and he's with us every day, and he is omnipresent, and he's everywhere. Where my mom can be everywhere, right? But God can, and
Mhm.
that same safety and non-judgment and forgivefulness and gracefulness that God imparts on us, like like our loved one will, whether it's your parent, your spouse, your child, whoever the person is for you, right? God does that, and does it in a way that is everywhere, because he's everywhere. So we're
Right.
never alone. We should never fear, because God is there to help us feel like confident and hopeful that things will work out, even if they're not looking like they're going to work out right now. He can make us feel like, don't worry, just stay the course. I'm here with you. I got you. I'm not going to let you fall. You might lean and tilt a bit, but don't worry. I got you. And I'm going to help you stay and get back up again.
Right.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So it's like, we can rest in God, right? Because he's going to have our backs and help us up if we're getting weary, if we're getting dreadful, if we're tired, if we feel like this is too much on us. He's there to carry the burden with us, sometimes even for us, because it is hard when you are embarking in something new, or in something that you were called to do, something that you want to do, and it seems very scary, or like it's impossible, or when is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen? All these questions and these doubts creep in our minds. And God wants to show us that it's okay. Those thoughts are okay. Just stay the course. Just don't give up. Stay in alignment. Stay in me. Stay in this relationship with me, because I'm going to carry you through, and I'm going to show you that you don't have to carry the whole burden by yourself, right? Like share it with me. And once you do that, you just feel lighter, and it helps you move forward. It helps you stay the course. So those are the things that, have helped me in my journey, and that I've noticed have helped me stay the course with him. Right. The main thing is, like Antoine said, like I know that God is with me. I know that, that everything is for my good. I know that nothing is of harm, even if it makes no sense. God isn't going to do anything to harm me. So when there's moments of doubt that are creeping in, and I'm so scared, like, am I going to feel lonelier in Costa Rica? Am I going to make friends? Am I going to find somebody that I can spend time with or explore the country with? God is like, I'm not putting you there for you to feel lonely, for you to feel miserable, for you to get depressed, for you to feel all those negative. I am not doing this for that. And then once I talk to myself in that way, like feeling like this is what God is telling me, I snap out of it. I'm like, girl, this isn't real. This is the enemy filtering my mind, like, so that I can not go, or that so I can go and believe that I'm gonna be miserable. And, we attract what we think. So I'm not going to attract that. I'm not going to attract those nasty, negative thoughts. I'm going to believe that this is for my good. I am going to believe that I am going to meet amazing people. I'm going to believe that I'm going to be the happiest I've ever been in my life. I am going to believe that I'm going to buy land and build my house on a hilltop, overseeing the beautiful beach and the mountains. I'm going to believe that because God told me that. And God's not going to lie to me. Does it have to happen right away when I get there? No. But is it going to happen for me? Absolutely. Yeah. And that's how you have to feel about things when you feel the devil creeping in and lying to you and like wanting for you to see the opposite of what you know. You got to keep speaking that life. Yeah. This is what God said. This is what it is. And keep claiming it. Claim it out loud. Phone a friend and tell them, girl, do you know that the enemy's trying to play with me right now? And he's trying to make me feel depressed and sad and confused and angry and lost about my decisions. But you know what? I know God loves me. I know that he has my back. I know that everything is happening for my good. God has my best interest. I'm going to go to Costa Rica. I'm going to do this next venture. And everything's going to work out for my good. And you speak that life. Right. And you will have a shift in energy. You will have a shift in perspective. And you will continue to walk with confidence and keep making those decisions and making those plans and walking towards the things that you need to walk towards. Because the enemy is real and he's really going to try you. But it's like God is realer and he has your back.
Amen. Amen.
Ain't nothing happening to harm you. Everything is happening for your good and for you to thrive in the thing that you want to do. Right. Even if it doesn't happen right away. You guys got to remember, I had a vision and a feeling that I was going to live in Costa Rica in 2018. It is now 2025 that God is allowing this to happen, that I felt the calling and the push. If I would have thought, well, God, it's 2019, it's 2020, it's not happening, I'm throwing in the towel in 2021, and I would have completely took that thought out of my mind because it didn't happen when I probably wanted it to, would I have been in this place right now? But instead, what I did was, every room I walked to, I'm moving to Costa Rica one day. I'm going to live in Costa Rica and I'm going to oversee the beach and the mountains. I was speaking that to everybody, always. Anybody that knows me for all these years know that at least once you've heard out of my mouth that I'm moving to Costa Rica one day. Yeah. I never stopped believing that it would happen, even though time and time passed. And for a long time, it didn't even seem possible because, I had debt. I had a 9-to-5 job that I had an office to attend, right? Like I had to be present. The money wasn't how the money's moneying now, So it's like, the thoughts that I had in 2018, I was in no position to have really those thoughts because things were not in alignment for me for that. But God put it in my heart. I knew that it was possible. I never stopped believing. I knew some way, somehow, things were going to be in alignment for me to be living in Costa Rica one day. So I say that all to say, if you're in a position where you've been asking for something, or God told you something, and it's been so many years, so many months, and you don't see the results of it, or you don't see that the way, don't doubt. God is big. He's magical. He's beautiful. He's perfect. He can make anything happen in a split second for you, and anything can change in a drop of a dime. So it doesn't matter how long it's been. It doesn't matter that it hasn't happened. It doesn't matter if you don't see the way. You don't need to see the way with your physical eyes. You just have to see it and believe it with your spiritual eyes. You have to see it and believe it in your heart. You have to see it and believe it because you know that God told you he won't lie to you or have you go of the wrong way. He won't have you go astray. That's all you need. God is in this with you. He's going to help you get from point A to B. Give him some time. Give yourself some time. There may be things that you need to continue to do. Things you got to continue to sharpen up a skill, right? Yeah. You have to continue to learn. You have to continue to grow. You have to maybe get closer in your relationship with God. Maybe God is asking something of you and you just haven't done it. You've just been resistant. And God is like, well, and you want this to happen? I need you to do something too. So do you know what I mean? We maybe have to block out all distractions and get in peace and alignment with God. And he will tell you what you need to do next. And he will give you the confidence to keep going. He will continue to spark that fire, because that fire was put there by God. Like, he put it there. He will continue to keep it, burning. But if you continue, if you blatantly shy away from God and just truly just walk away and like, well, I ain't doing nothing you're asking me to do, I ain't building this relationship with you, and you just go about your merrily way, you can expect for the results to be as pristine as they could be when you have that alignment, because he's going to help you stay in it. He's going to help you, remind you of the why. He's going to help you remember the things that he asked you to do. And that fire is going to stay lit. There's work that has to be done. So that's like really what I wanted, like, the takeaway to really be with this, short episode that we're doing, is just that the uncertainty, the fears, of the future, of anything that you want to do, is that God isn't going to leave you alone in it. He's not going to leave you stranded in it. He put it in you because he wants it for you. He probably wants it more for you than you want it for yourself. Mm-hmm. And all that you have to do is call on to him, tell him, I need help. I don't want to give up, or I want to start this new venture for whatever it is, the track that you're in for your individual situation. Tell him that you need the help to get you started or to get you going. And he will not forsake you, and he will not leave you, and he will not have anything of harm go your way. But it will require patience, divine timing, obedience, sacrifice, in knowing that this would happen, but it's not going to happen when you want. It's going to require for you to stay diligent in it and put some skin in the game too. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like we just want God to make things happen. Like, God, just do that for me. And although God can do that for you, but what if he gave it to you and you weren't ready for it? And you go and mess it up. You want to be a millionaire. What if God makes you a millionaire? You go bankrupt in a year because you just blew it away, the money. You had no idea how to manage $1 million. You want the love of your life. Boom, here you go. And you crazy as hell. Trauma. You need therapy, baby. Like, there might be things that you need so that when God gives you the thing that you want, you are prepared for it. You won't lose it. You'll maintain it. You'll hold on to it with love and like security that, you're not going to want it to go anywhere. So we don't want things to happen to us right away. We don't want God to just drop things on us, because if we're not prepared for it, we're not going to appreciate it. And it's just not going to work out, and we're going to lose it. And I don't know about you, but if God gives me something, my blessing, I want to treasure that blessing. I want to be prepared for that blessing. I want to know that I can manage that blessing. I want to know that I can grow that blessing. I want to make it bigger. If God blesses me with 1 million, I want to make it into 2. I want to grow what God gives me. But that is only going to happen if we take the time and dedicate the time that's needed to grow into the thing that we want. So we can grow into, be able to maintain it. We can't just always get what we want right away in that instant gratification. As amazing as that feels, it is very short-lived. It is not long-lived with nothing, And even if you maintain it, it's going to be, the struggle is going to be even real. If you do get your person in the drop of a dime, it's going to be a lot of heartaches, battles, turbulence in that relationship for a very long time, because you didn't work on things you had to work on your own. You're working it with them, and it's going to be a lot of pain and hurt in the process. God doesn't want that for you. Mm-hmm. He gives you all the money and you blow it. He don't want that for you. The friendships, the new place to live, the new job. If you're not prepared for it, God don't want that for you. So there's a reason why everything has this divine timing. So if you can take anything at all away from, this episode, is everything happens in God's divine timing, and his timing is just like perfect and beautiful. And it would be so much worth it once we get the gift that God has for us. Once the manifestation comes into realization, the beauty of that is going to feel like I would sacrifice and I would go through the trials and tribulations all over again. Like I will go through it all over again, because once God's hand is in something and God has something happen for you and you get that blessing, you don't remember the pain that you had to go through to get it. You don't. You're just so grateful that it's here now, and it just completely eradicates. So that tells me that the sacrifice is worth it. That sacrifice is worth it. That waiting is worth it. Having some pain is worth it. So as usual, y'all, if you have any thoughts, comments, or anything that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. So drop a comment below. And with that, thank you for tuning in. And until our next episode, always remember that having faith in God, having faith in yourself, and having faith in others will create the evolution that you are seeking.
Let's go.